than they will make in a year. Well, not quite more than what Neil Armstrong will make in a year. There's a 26-year-old Englishman. We told you about him some time ago. He made a bet 5 years ago that man would land on the moon before 1971. And now he stands to win $24,000. David Threlfall is the man's name. He's a science fiction buff. And he took odds of 1,000 to 1 from one of England's largest bookmakers. He said he was just playing a hunch bet. And I suppose 5 years ago, 1,000 to 1, well, I don't know, Jules. I think that the bookmakers kind of deserve to suffer their fate. 5 years ago, it didn't seem that it would be 1,000 to 1 shot, did it?
Maybe 100 to 1. 1,000 to 1 seems pretty outlandish to me.
Nobody was giving me any odds of that kind 5 years ago.
You weren't in the right places, Frank.
Well, anyway, we have David Threlfall in London, and I guess he's collected his check, and let's go to London and see the man.
David Threlfall is a young Englishman. In the normal course of things, nobody would ever hear much about him. But 5 years ago, he bet 10 pounds, $24, that somebody from someplace on Earth would touch on the moon by 1971. William Hill, a bookie here in London, took the bet at odds of 1,000 to 1. Tonight, with a touchdown on the moon, David Threlfall collects $24,000. Now, when you placed your bet with William Hill, you didn't say that it will be an American on the moon by 1970.
No, anyone, Chinese, Japanese, a man, woman, or child from any nation on Earth. That was the wording of the bet.
You made it that specific, man, woman, or child from any nation on Earth.
I wanted to say woman or child because I wasn't sure of the payload you could carry. And I thought you might be tight for weight, so I tried to cover every option and tried to make it as unambiguous as possible.
Well, 5 years ago, it was a bet. Obviously, it was a bet because William Hill was quoting odds of 1,000 to 1. When did you begin to feel that, by heaven, you're going to win this bet?
I think it was in 1966 when they proved that they could do a soft landing, that it wasn't green cheese or a mile of dust. I think that was the only factor. There was some doubt when the three Americans lost their lives and there was a delay in the program. But once they got over that, then I was always certain.
The British are not getting much glory out of this landing on the moon, but here in London there is a little pride that apparently an Englishman at least is going to get the most money out of it. This is Bill Buttell, ABC News, London.
Oh, here comes Mrs. Armstrong out of her home. Let's go to Texas.
Is it easier now?
Yes. Yes and no.
How did it feel at the moment of touchdown?
Oh, I was terribly excited. It's a marvelous thing that we have successfully managed to land safely on the moon.
What was the reaction of the children, the two boys?
We were very excited.
Neil had a slight problem with Gemini 8, with a malfunctioning thruster. Perhaps you can move just a moment. Your light is just behind you, just a little bit to the left or right. Had a problem with a malfunctioning thruster. There were no problems this time. It must have been quite a difference as you were following along.
Yes, it was.
Is Neil carrying anything for you to the moon?
Yes, but that's private.
You're not going to tell us? Animal, or vegetable, or mineral? Was there any special incantation today, any special prayer, something that you can share with us that you had as those moments near touchdown came?
No, we have said our prayers all along. From the time they had separation, we knew it was go all the way, and I didn't say any extra special prayers at that time. My faith is with me always.
I'm told that Neil was a very poor history student as a boy. Now he's made history. You going to encourage the two boys to become astronauts?
No, I will encourage the boys to do whatever they would like to do.
What do you think they'd like to do?
That's completely up to them.
Ms. Armstrong, can you describe what you were doing at the moment of touchdown?
I was sitting on the bed in my room, and I was watching the map minute by minute and following all the craters which they were going over, and doing the best I could to follow them all the way.
Your husband had to do a little bit of flying. Was that suspenseful for you?
No, sir.
And there was a little bit of a problem with communications for a while. Was that a tense moment?
No.
What is that pin that you've got? Maybe you can describe that. It says JA, and it's a model of the Lunar module.
Well, that's a model pin, which is a model of the limb with my initials on it, which I
Jan
like very
Armstrong.
highly.
Where did you get it, Ms. Armstrong? Where did it come from?
It was a gift.
From Neil? Your husband?
Can you tell us what you'll be doing tonight and from now on?
I will be continuing to follow the flight and listening to their descriptions on the moon. Probably reading them in the mission reports again and over and over and over again. I think it's fantastic, and I'm just about as excited as you all are.
Are you following?
Well, I have here a reservation for a flight to the moon as a paying passenger, although I haven't paid anybody anything for this card. It's a card issued by Pan American World Airways to people who apply for seats on the first flight, or the first flight they can get. And you know, more than 17,000 persons already have applied to Pan Am. Pan Am isn't making any promises about this, but the airline does say quite soberly that commercial aviation is never very far behind scientific pioneering. As Jules Verne said 100 years ago, an American sees no real difficulty in anything. And whole families have reserved space on the first flights, despite the estimated round-trip fare of $28,000 per person. ABC News talked to several happy applicants at the Pan Am ticket office in New York.
What do you expect to see on the moon, Andrew?
Craters,
Craters and what else?
big holes,
Well, what will be most interesting that you see from the moon?
craters.
My main desire in life would be to be an astronaut, but I've been a little bit more practical. And I heard about the Pan Am waiting list for the moon, and I decided that would be the next best thing to being an astronaut.
So many people nowadays are concerned with weight watching and how to go on diets. Might be nice just to go to the moon and sense that feel of weightlessness without all the effort.
If I ever go to the moon, I think it'll be very fun. I just hope to go very, very soon, and I hope I'm not really that old.
The moon, I figure, would be very sandy and not very pretty to look at, and all these big crater holes and everything else. But I'm just wondering, do you need oxygen to go to the moon? Because I need very little of it. I would be a very good passenger, I think, to go to the moon, because I need very little sleep, need no medication, and I need little oxygen, and I can stay on a liquid diet for weeks. And if we come down and splash down in the ocean, I can float by the hour. So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to go to the moon, even at my age.
Be advised now that the men are going to walk on the moon tonight, so you better not plan to be anywhere very far from a television set at approximately 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 9 o'clock in the east. And that is when we now expect that they will open the hatch on the spacecraft and Neil Armstrong will come down and we will have this historic walk on the moon.